Musso. I am 19 years old. I am a part of Villara Building Systems and a proud graduate of Oakmont High School, class of 2019. I am currently a finish installer for air conditioning and heating. So my education leading up to my current employment actually started off from my sophomore year of high school doing all three BITA classes up until my senior year. It started off with me being a low-level entry student where you are only really accepted to do the classes if you were a sophomore, because then you would get introduced to the internship that you would go to the following year in your junior year. And what that did was it kind of gave you a experience where you would do several different trades, amongst that being HVAC, electrical, fencing, framing, plumbing, and tiling, which were all super useful trades that all give you insight into the jobs that you can go out to in construction fields. Along with that, the classes themselves, they're all pretty early and pretty easy to understand, all relatively basic information when it comes down to those classes. You get to work with your friends should they all choose to do the same classes with you. So you'll have familiar faces with you helping you along the way, so you don't feel super alienated or super, stuck when you don't have anyone there as to help you. And it can be kind of tough to ask those kind of people for help if you don't know them. So it really does help with those classes because you have people around you that you're familiar with. Also, along with that, all the classes that I took before taking the BITA classes were a lot of my construction classes in high school. I took wood shop all 4 years of high school, had a lot of construction experience just on basic framing and some small electrical work that probably helped me a lot going into my field. I definitely think that the internship also, the junior internship also gives you a lot of insight into what fields you feel more comfortable with and most enjoy. So mistakes that I've made are come by pretty rare, but the one I can recall, my most recent one was, and it relates back to the whole communication thing when dealing with construction. I was in a house and there was a thermostat wire that was being hung up by a nail in the wall, and that's how you kind of get to it, is by you take out the nail with your hammer, but in the midst of that, my hammer dug too far into the drywall, made a giant hole, and instead of calling somebody or letting them know that I did that, I kind of went about the rest of it, put the thermostat in, and just left the hole there. The following day, I got a call from my boss, and he was like, "What happened?" And I was like, "I put a hole in it, didn't call anybody. It was the end of the day. I just thought I would get to it eventually." And it was not the wisest thing for me to do. I did get talked to. I was like reminded how that's just, you should call somebody. It's very important because then that costs us, makes us have to deal with it and waste more time on our end. And then we get back charged. And it's just a lot of, if you don't follow through with people on mistakes you make and try to get that situation fixed as soon as possible, it will come back to bite you. And it will suck, but everyone does make mistakes. Everyone does get over those mistakes. It just takes time with learning in your trade. Keeping a good work ethic in construction is very important, especially when it comes to managing your time on one house or managing your time doing your certain task overall. It can be very crucial. Like, for instance, sometimes I overestimate my time in working on a house, and it can save me a lot of time throughout the day. Be like, okay, I have X amount of time, I'll take up the rest of the day, and I finish it way quicker than I thought I would because I thought I wouldn't be taking forever. It really does kind of, catch you off guard, and you don't really know what to do for the rest of the day. So I think the best thing is definitely planning ahead for what you're going to do, and also make sure that you are going to be able to get it done in that time frame, because of course you want to get that done on schedule, because that's what helps you continue to go along without having any stress on the other ends of the people that you work with. Another thing to probably look for and have good work ethic is make sure you show up to your job when you say you're going to. Make sure you show up on time. Make sure that no one's wondering where you are or wondering when you're going to get there, because if you're having people wait for you on a certain task, that's really not going to be good, because then you're wasting their time and your time, and that's just not good for anybody. Typical workday for someone in construction can really vary depending on your position in a job site. Like, for instance, for me, I am a finish worker, so my instant thing that I do in the morning, get ready in the morning, get out the door, get in my car, figure out what job site I'm going to the day before. Always helps, because then you don't have to stress and call people about for what you're going to do that day. It just saves you a lot of time in the mornings. Typically what I'll do, I'll go to the house, get everything set up, lay out the houses, get everything put up in whatever time frame I need to for that house is scheduled. And then if I have my entire day set, I have it set. I don't need to call anybody unless people need to call me, need parts changed out, need parts replaced. I'm kind of a all-around maintenance kind of guy when it comes to giving people parts or fixing stuff for them, because that's part of my work ethic and part of my work, placement. But probably the rest of my day will go, if I need to find more work, I'll typically just call around other lead guys, other job sites to see if they need more work as well. If they do, I will easily go to the next job site, work on whatever needs to get done. Usually I have the day already set up and set out, so it doesn't usually work like that, but for whenever it does, I am luckily in a position to where I can just move to job site without any worries. I've always kind of been raised around that environment of work ethic and work environment, because I would always go to my dad's garage, play with all of his tools, even though I didn't know what any of them meant, but I was always fascinated by it. And after I got old enough to start doing woodshop classes and woodshop programs in my high school and middle school, I quickly got more into it, and it was more of a fascination that turned into a career and a job that I like very much. So I wouldn't trade this job for anything right now. I very much enjoy what I do, and I'm very fortunate that I can do it at a time of the day that I can go home at the end of the day and have the rest of my day to myself. I work very good hours. I work very early hours to where I wake up early and get home early. It's a very good, very nice